Right, welcome to part 4 of the Piggery floor plan. In this video we're going to add in all our openings as well as our windows to the 3D model. We're just going to create some guides. We're going to use the measuring tape to create some points, some guides in order to go and then create one component and multiply it across a whole bunch. Right, so we're going to go into our SketchUp model and you'll see we still got those guides along the bottom for the positioning of these windows. And what I'm going to do is just create one guide for each window. And we want to make sure that I'm going to make sure that I have a height of 2,200 because I want the height to be the top of the door. So I'm going to go across to all windows, wherever the windows need to be. And I'm just going to draw a line up for one reference point of 2200. Right, so as we move around, let's move quickly, straight up, 2200. Make sure it lights up in a color. In this case, obviously it's blue. And I'm going to go 2200, again 2200, enter. Right, and again 2200, enter. Great, we've got all the guides for the windows to be in position. And what I'm going to do here is get one rectangle, right? And I'm going to make a rectangle here of 1000 by 1000. That's going to give us the size of the window that we need. Right, what I'm going to do here now as well is I'm going to create a component. So I'm going to click on this, right, actually triple click, right click and then go make a component. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this window. Let's call it a window. Right, enter. Now let's just go make sure that's all correct. Let's go entity info. Is it available for us here? Okay. That's fine. Alright, so make sure that whenever you do it, so let's Control Z, let's go back again, let's go triple click, right click, and we're going to go make components. I'm going to do that again so that I can just show you. I went a bit too quickly there. We want to make sure that it's got any and cut opening. Any and cut opening must be there. Create. Great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the move tool, click on this top corner as a reference because that's the same corner I've got to reference for all the other windows. Click on it, press Control. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing this window around. Now as I hit on there, notice what happens. My window starts to shift inward. Crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to release it on the wall and then I'm going to grab it again and then put it onto position. I don't know why SketchUp does it, it just does. Now that window is sitting, it's white. Notice it's not gray and it's not all sorts of, it isn't going fuzzy. It's not, that means we're in good order. So I'm going to click it again, press Control, I'm going to pull across to this one, and notice as soon as I do that, it swings in. So I'm going to release it, I'm going to grab it on that corner again, and shift it into position. I'm going to grab that corner, Control to copy, come around to the front, and you can see we have the same issue. So I'm going to release it on the face, grab it, pull it across, click it again, Control, release and drag, and put it in place. This one is perfect, I don't have to place and then shift. That's all in good positioning. Now what I'm going to do here is give this a little bit of detail. I'm going to give this window a bit of detail, and what you'll find is as I start to edit this one, it's going to do it to all the others. So I'm going to double click on here and you'll see what happens is it isolates that window, it grays out everything else because we're going to edit one component to edit the many, and you'll see how that works. So I'm going to leave this window in view so that you can see what I mean by that. So I'm going to click, create a nice outside border of 150 like I did earlier. And then I'm going to grab that little border. I'm going to pull it out to 50, right? Enter, and I've created one window frame for all 5 windows. Okay. Now I'm not going to do any more detail because as soon as we start adding a lot of geometry, it can really bug out the system, and we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to release all of these components and explode them so they are no more part of a component. They're just isolated, and we're going to push-pull to create a complete opening. Right, so how do we do that? Get my cursor icon, grab it, right-click, and explode. We're going to go do that to all of them. So I'm just going to grab it, right-click, explode. Let's move around to each one, grab, right-click, explode. Right, you'll see how this all works in a moment. Grab, right click, we're going to explode you, and we're going to explode. Don't have to explode that one. Not too sure why, but we don't have to. Alright, so now what I'm going to do here to each of these is I'm going to do the same thing I did to the doors. I'm going to grab this internal one and I'm going to push it out. I'm going to grab this internal one, or that internal window space, push it onto the edge, and you can see I'm making openings. So we grab that edge, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to grab this and grab the edge, grab this and grab the edge. I will do the same thing for our openings a bit later. Right, so now what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and create a little window pane. Very simple. It's going to be a flat, two-dimensional, translucent window pane. Not very difficult to create. So what we're going to do here, though, is we are going to make it a component. So that as soon as something is grouped as a component and you attach it to something else, it'll pull and distort that geometry. So we're going to make a rectangle. If you remember, the window size is 1000 by 1000. That's all right. Good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to double click in there, right click and say make component. And I'm going to call it window pane. If that's, jeepers, how do I even spell that? Window pane. I'm assuming that's how I spell it. Make sure it's any and cut opening, create. Right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this one, right? I'm going to click on this point here. And I'm going to drag it into that point over there. Drag it right onto that geometry that we have as a reference. We should now be able to push and pull this backwards without interfering with any other geometry. Okay, perfect, I can do that. So I'm going to push that backwards. I should be able to find a center point. So let's try that again. For some reason, I'm not able to find the center point I'm after. Not too sure why. So let me double click on this. If not, we can just leave it in that position. But let's try this again. I'm going to double click here. All right. I'm going to click on that point there, and let's see if we can move this back. Right, that's not happening. So let's try an alternative option. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start this all over again. I'm going to click on this and delete it. Right. So let's start that process again. I think we've got another way to do this, which should make it a little bit easier. So we go 1000 by 1000, enter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this. Instead of making a component now, I'm going to drag it from that corner into this position here. Then I'm going to make it a component. So then I'm going to click on it, double click. You see I get the highlighted blue, make components, and I'm going to call it a window pane. Okay. Again, I'm not too sure if my spelling is good. So we're going to go make sure it's any and cut opening, and we're going to go create. Right. Okay. Yes. Right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm now going to click on the move tool. I'm going to move this onto the center point. There we go. Now it creates a midpoint. Now I'm going to copy this, control copy, and I'm going to move it around. Now you'll see we now have a problem where it's not attaching itself to any of the walls at all. And if I bring it around here, it gets distorted. If I bring it around here, again, it does the exact same thing. So what I'm going to have to do is manually rotate this. So I'm going to just drop it off the wall here. I'm going to rotate to go above, I'm going to orbit above this window. And I'm going to grab my rotate tool. I want to make sure it's on blue. I'm going to click on the reference points, click on this point here, and I'm going to swing it around until it goes white. Now I can take this, right, and I can just quickly move it onto the midpoint where it's blue. Perfect. I want to do the same thing now. Click the control, and I want to copy it, bring it around here. Notice we have the same issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click control and copy, and I've got two more windows, so I'm going to control and copy, and I'm going to get these rotated in place before I take them across. So this one, we want to rotate until it goes, excuse me, I've now got the other one highlighted blue, so I'm rotating all sorts here. So we're going to rotate this one on this point here. We want to make sure it's blue there, and I'm going to make, as soon as it goes, white. Let's have a look. White is perfect. So I'm going to rotate on this point as well, on there, and I'm going to swing this one. Okay, now be careful. I need to release the other one, right? So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to rotate it right on that point all the way around there, so that it's white. Because remember, I'm attaching that on the other wall. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Click there, click. Oh, hold on a second. Before I do that, let me release the other one. So I'm going to click on this, click on that, and I'm going to rotate it all the way through 90. And what we have there is a white window. Now this one hasn't rotated correctly, so I'm going to Control Z that. I'm going to do the same thing again. Excuse me, this panning is really annoying me. So now I'm going to click on that point, click on that point. I'm going to rotate it all the way through 90. There we go. So very simply, move tool, grab this point. I'm going to shove it right into that, on the midpoint there. And we can do the same thing with these two over here. Grab onto the midpoint, which is the blue. Come on, give it, there we go. One more, grab that one, put it on the midpoint here. Now if you remember, we made this a component. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add a translucent to this. So I'm going to go to my tray here and go drop down glass and mirrors, and on this one we've got a translucent glass. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight what my component, right, make sure that it's got to be activated, and then if I make it translucent, you'll see that all the other windows are translucent. Now I haven't gone and added any color to these frames, so you can ensure that you do that or you work on it. Right, so the windows are all in place now. The openings, quickly, the openings won't take long. So for the openings, we won't add any detail to the openings. We'll make them very simple. So I'm going to just go up to 2, 0, 0 from there, and I'm going to find my reference points on each wall, 2, 2, 0, 0. Remember, just one reference point for each opening will be fine. Right, 2, 2, 0, 0, great, right, and then 2, 2, 0, 0 over here, 2, 2, 0, 0 on the inside over here, and then 2, 2 on the inside over here. Good. Now we're going to do a very similar thing, right? So we're going to grab the rectangular tool, we're going to grab this, we're going to make it, remember, we're going to go a height of, let's work out a height. We know we want to be 2 meters across, right? So we're going to go 2,000, right, by, let's do 1,200, right? It's gone the other way around. That's great. We want to go this way. So we want to go 2,000 by 1,200. Enter. Perfect. I think that opening will work nicely. So, very simply, I'm going to copy this rectangle. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting that tool out. So we're just going to highlight that, and we're going to copy it all the way across here. So, Control, drop, click, Control, and drop. And we should be able to do the same thing. Click, Control, let's take it across here. And if I put it on that, see how it gives us hassles. I'm going to drop it there, then I'm going to drag it across. There we go. Click, Control, Control, drop it there, Control, and drop it there. So for these, very simply, all we're going to do is we're going to push pull. Oh, I've got that one onto the inside edge of the wall where it says on edge. Same thing here. On edge, same thing here. On edge, move around to this side. Click on edge. Click on edge. Click on. Make sure it's on edge. There it is. So the openings for the pigs are there. Now here you could just add blinds or whatever it is. You don't have to add anything in terms of to the model. Right now everything is fine. So the openings are there. The only thing we don't have now are the little piggery doors or gates over here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go, remember the height is 1, 2. But what I'll do is I'll just draw a line straight up there. Make sure it stays on the blue. So we should up to the top. Bring it up to the top, right? And then I'm going to shift this across to that edge over there, right? And I'm then going to delete that, right? So we have an opening. I don't know why that line stayed. delete, there we go. In fact, even better, what I might do here is do the following, is I'm going to go make this a bit quicker, go parallel projection, camera, I'm going to go standard views, top view. What I will do here is very simply just draw a line across. This will be a lot easier in the long term. You'll see now. So I'm trying to get onto that snap. Notice I can't use that because the wall has been extruded. Okay, so we're going to have to go back to plan A. So I'm going to go back to perspective. That's fine. And we'll do the same thing here. Right. In fact, I wonder if this will work. No, we won't. We'll just do as we did earlier. I'm going to drag up, straight. There we go. Do the same thing here, straight up. Make sure I get the color correct on my, there we go, straight up. There it is. Right, we're going to push all the way across onto that point, and then we're just going to delete the geometry that's left over. Okay, there it is. Alright, so we're going to go implement that for all the rest. Now to make it quicker, if I wanted to, what I can actually do is go this way, and I know that it's going to be 90 by 1020, 1200. Oh, wrong way. So let's try that again. We're going across 90 or 900, and we're going to go by 1200. And that should fit perfectly. So now we're going on the wrong geometry. That's a bit annoying. Let's try that again. Right. So we're going to go there. So we should go up 900 by 1200. It's still, not getting that right either. Alright, so we're just going to go back to manual. Manual is our friend when in doubt. Drag it up. Drag it up. Let's go do it for all of them quickly. Yeah, I suppose you could create a component as well if you wanted to. Right. Up you go. Push pull to the external edge. Push pull to that external edge there. Delete the geometry. Right. And you guys are probably going to find better ways to do what I'm doing here. Right, that's perfect. Right, we can go do it on the other side. Well, we have to repeat on the inside here. So I'm going to hold shift, bring it up. Hold shift, bring it up. I'm actually obviously locking the geometry in. So make sure it's parallel, shift, lock it in, shift, lock it in. Right, lock it in, there we go. And let's press pull to the external edge. Press pull to the external edge. I've got this awkward geometry still sitting there, and I'm going to delete it. I just have to click on that line. There we go. That's a quicker way. Delete it. So the internal walls are there. If I wanted to now, I could go and add a gate in there. In other words, there should be some components in here. Those are my earlier ones. So if we go edit, go stats, components. Okay, so then let's go to the 3D warehouse. And there might be something here for us. What about this little fence? It could act as a gate. So let's use the fence. Let's add this in. There we go. We could use that. And then we could actually stretch it. Let's try and give it a stretch. If not, we'll just leave it open. So we should be able to use our scale tool here. And we should be able to stretch this across. If it doesn't work, that's not a problem, but let's give it a go. Right, so we're going to pull that across to the other side. Right, and it should sit there nicely. There we go. So we've just fenced that off, and now all I have to do is go copy it, find a common point, we'll copy it there, control, and this should then slot itself into every position. Alright, so we'll do the same thing, control. I'm going to go copy, click, control, click, control to make a copy. I don't know why it's not making a copy. Control, and let's bring it onto this point. There we go. Click, control, onto that point. Right, and Now you should be able to, if you work online, you'll be able to find many more types of fences and gates, etc. Right, so if I go, let me make sure I get the points correct. So let me click on this. Then I go to my move, make sure I get that point, control. Right, there, control, click, bring it onto there. There we go. So my little fences, or my little, we'll call those gates, are in position. Right, you can then go add color to those gates if you wanted to. So if you wanted to then add a wood color to them, I can go to, where's my wood? Here, add the cherry wood, and you can just click on all of them and give them that nice cherry color. Right, cherry wood color looks really good because it's one component. It does them all at once. Right, so before we go, there's your piggery. There's your 3D model of your piggery. It looks great. All right, you can take a couple of snapshots like this, or you can, if you go, you can create a layout and a view, a print preview, print setup. You could then go landscape, Microsoft Print to PDF, of course. We want a 3. We're going to press OK. We can go camera. We could then find a different view. I think there's an isometric option somewhere over here. I can't see it right now. I will do another video on how to take a snapshot. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is just add a little bit more paint here. So because the school is a common brick, we're going to take a brick option. You can decide which one you want to use. There's that brick option, or there's this brick, right? Or there's even this brick here. So you can have a look at these and decide which you prefer. I think I prefer the first one for mine. So I'm going to take that option and I'm going to add those. Now on the internal edges here, you can just show the brick as it continues. Obviously you're going to have to then turn over and then do it on all the other edges. Now if you made these all, if these were all their own components obviously, then you could just do it to one and it'll do to all. It doesn't take too much longer just to do it manually. Okay, you can go add to your little frames, extruded frames on the windows as well. I'll get underneath these too. Right, there we have it. Okay, so walls are in and done, windows are in. Oh, we need to create that. We can put a roof on this as well. It'll have to be a separate component, but for now I'm happy. Right, so what else do we need to do here? I don't think anything else, unless you want to go add some, I think what we'll do is, let's go add brick on the inside of these. So what I'm going to do here is go edit view. I should be able to hide my geometry. So is it an edit, delete guards. Now when I delete guards, you'll see that all those guards that I had earlier are deleted. Now I want to be able to, we'll just add into that for now, but I would prefer to delete that geometry if possible. So we'll keep all the internals here. We'll Control Z. We'll make that different. You can see I'm adding all brick to these walls over here. Now you've really got to be detailed, as you've got to make sure that all these walls get the relevant coloring. Okay, so right, make sure that it's all set. Right, top, right, inside. Again, I would rather go delete that geometry there, but we'll just keep it in for now, just for time's sake. Okay, obviously along the top we'll add some brick. Now on the floors on the inside we can create some color, and I think what we should do is just go give some color to the walls on the inside. So if we go colors, we can do whatever color we want really. You can get really creative, but I'm just going to give it an off sort of blue maybe. Let's see what color we can give it. That's half decent. Let's go with just a simple, let's go with the charcoal inside the office. Okay, we'll go charcoal on the inside of the doors. I'm not going to do too much more here. You guys can go ahead and do that because you'll have to do it underneath there as well. And for the bathroom, we'll do a blue, a subtle blue of sorts, maybe something along that line. Let's have a look. No, okay, so the colors aren't the greatest, but anyway, let's just go for that. Maybe this is a bit purpley. Yeah, no, it's a bit too purpley. Let's go and find a more subtle color if we can. Maybe a lighter blue. Yeah, it's a little bit better, a little bit more general in color. Right, there we go. So that's done. Let's do that charcoal one more time on the inside wall here. There we go. Right, we can do the charcoal on the inside of the door as well. I haven't done underneath, inside the doors here as well. So it'll be sorted. Good. Right, there we go. So there's the piggery. It's ready to go. We could also add some color to the floor here. So in this case, this could all be a certain color. We'll just do a gray as a screed, I think, to make it look like it's just a screed floor. You don't have to add anything else. That's perfect. Right, there we go. Piggery's done. Sorted. So stay patient. Enjoy the process of creating your piggery in 3D. I really feel like we need to go and sort these out. These don't look good, staying white. But I'll go ahead and do that and make sure. Again, I've got added geometry in here that I do not need. Right, and you just go make sure that you clear all that geometry when you get a chance. Right, so there it is. My piggery done, sorted, ready for snapshots or ready for printing.